The Triumph Dolomite was one of the classic British saloons of the 70s. But although it had good performance and looked great with its stylish flowing lines, it has to be said that there were some people who loathed it. Nevertheless, it's now become a cult car with many fans both in the UK and overseas. But this one is rather special because the chap who restored and owns it is only 12 years old. Alan Dean has a passion for old cars, particularly Triumphs. He bought his first one at the tender age of 6, and this young lad has been collecting, restoring and selling them ever since. Well, it's here in this house in the suburbs of Chester that the boy wonder mechanic eats, sleeps and breathes old cars. But how on earth did it all start? Hello?
Hello?
Now, when did you start all this?
When I was 6 years old, and I started on an Escort Mexico.
So you saw all these nice cars, and most children would have gone off and perhaps got a dinky toy or two. What did you do?
Well, I gone off and bought a big toy instead, like a Dolomite.
Where on earth did you get the money from?
I sold some bicycles, and I had £50 left. So I went to buy the 1500 HL, and that was in a bit of a state. So I started restoring outside and put new sills, arches, and chassis legs, and a new gearbox, carbs, the lot.
Alan mastered the difficult art of welding when he was 6. When he was 7, he went on to building engines. Now he's after the big boys and moving into motorsport. He's constructing his very own Triumph Dolomite racing car. So what are you going to do to this one, Alan?
Well, what I was going to do is finish seam welding it and spray all in the inside and the outside red and white. I thought I'd try a different thing instead of making standard cars.
The boy has acquired all the paraphernalia and tools of the trade. He doesn't seem to be bothered by the size of any job, and the whole outfit would be a credit to a professional garage. But of course, Alan does have one disadvantage. He's not old enough to drive, and in any case, he can't reach the pedals. So I shall have to take the controls. Now, what is it that's so special about these Triumph Dolomites? Tell me.
Well, all the chrome and the wood trim and the engine's so simple but quiet. I love the shape and the style, and I love the way they hold on the road. When I first saw them, it really impressed me. They're sporty, and then again, it's like luxury inside.
Alan's passion for all things Triumph has enabled him to accumulate a huge assortment of spare parts. In fact, the Dean residence has been taken over by them, and even the potting shed and greenhouse are full to bursting point. The driveway alone boasts 3 Dolomites, all parked cheap by jowl. Well, your boy Alan seems to have got quite a fleet of cars around him.
Yes, he's got one or two. He's got 33 from the last count.
33, what, in existence now?
Yes. He's got them from in barns and old garages stocked all over the country. He buys and sells everything himself through going around to auto jumbles and, you know, things like that. Then he splits, you know, the money 2 ways for his charity, and the other part goes to, you know, save another car.
So he's giving money to charity as well as everything else?
Yes, he gives money to children with special needs, and he buys specialist equipment for them, musical equipment, to try and help them.
How do you cope with it all?
A nightmare, precisely. I wish he played football.
When Alan's not working on Triumphs, he's swatting up on them. After Mum's made him do his homework, of course. The house is full of manuals and magazines, and it's through these that he sells his bits throughout Britain and even as far afield as Holland. Now, What's going to happen to this car, this TC?
Well, I'm going to keep this one.
And then what? What's your final ambition?
Well, I'm going to get the Roadster, Triumph Roadster, and the Mayflower. And I'm going to collect every single Triumph there is in a collection.
It's amazing. A lot of people would say it's a boy doing a man's job, you see. Are you a boy or a man?
A man.
One thing he won't need at school is careers advice. Top racing teams are already talking to him about joining them as a mechanic. Alan Dean is a remarkable boy. Lord knows what'll happen when he's old enough to drive. Well, I'm glad I came up here today because I've got trouble with my hire car. I don't know what's wrong.